here's the juicy part. This is the juicy part of the show that might end up being over 10 minutes long. This might go 2 segments, but this brings together several things that have been in the news recently. One is Dick Cheney's assassination squads. Another is the attempted assassination of Evo Morales in Bolivia. The assassination of a high-profile author. I'll call him an author.
Yep.
In Bolivia recently, and just some inferences that Harry and I have been making, and I guess I think we need to start with Morales, and maybe you can start on that.
Yeah, so that the background for all of this is that in Bolivia there's that one of the large cities in the country, Santa Cruz, is in a very different bioregion than the rest of the country. It's down at low elevation, and has it has a population that's ethnically distinct from the rest of the country. It has most of the non-indigenous population, and is linked, its transportation links are mostly to Argentina and Brazil and not the rest of the country. And also the Santa Cruz area has recently become a major source of foreign exchange for Bolivia because of sales of natural gas, mostly to Brazil and Argentina. And so there's been there's been attempts by the area to obtain more autonomy or possibly even secede from Bolivia.
So through the process of doing that, of course, the wealthy businessmen have been the main folks going against Morales, because Morales is a socialist and an indigenous person.
And that really makes people like Dick Cheney angry. Even though it's such an obscure local struggle, in this distant part of the world.
Of course, the ambassadors got involved, and there were firing of ambassadors, and then solidarity firings of ambassadors in other countries.
And like guys, you don't need to get worked up about this. I mean, Bolivia has a gross domestic product of a total of $11 billion. I mean, that's like the budget of the IRS or something. Bolivia's GDP might be higher if you actually valued the coca leaves at U.S. street value instead of the price that you pay for them at the farmer's market when you want to put them in your salad.
That's a completely different topic altogether. But the point is, somebody tried to kill Morales, and it's highly possible that
there were four guys that 3 of them were killed by Bolivian police and the other one is in custody.
This was like a week ago, though.
Yeah.
But the point is, I'm not certain that this is the guy that tried to kill Morales, but it's assumed that was part of it. But the other interesting thing is, another target of this guy was an anti-Morales businessman in that same region, which definitely makes it seem like somebody from totally outside was pulling that guy's strings. And of course, Cy Hirsch just a little while ago was again talking about his, what he's uncovered about the Cheney assassination squads, and he specifically mentioned South America, and that, it just all comes together in a really interesting way. So this guy's name is Eduardo Rosa Flores, and he actually has a YouTube site, which I was checking out earlier today. He has some interesting videos, some training videos, one of which he's in a room with an American flag in it, which also makes me think he may have been trained by some Americans. Makes me think School of the Americas, perhaps. So this guy was killed like last week by the Bolivian police, but he's got a huge web presence, okay? And we don't know if he worked for Cheney, but we're feeling like he might have worked for Cheney.
Yeah, he's got a very unusual background.
Yeah, at the very least, he's a really interesting character, right? So, anyway, there's this movie called Chico that came out in 2001, which is sort of a cross between a documentary and a fictional film. It says at the beginning of it that it's a fictional film, but it uses people who did the actual sort of stuff that's in the movie, and it's about the Croatian War. And this guy went from South America to Hungary, and then at some point went to the Balkans and converted to Islam, and may have gotten involved with with Bin Laden during
Yeah,
this time.
that during the early stages of the Balkan War, that there certainly do seem to have been some people that that had trained with that at least had trained with Bin Laden that showed up in Sarajevo to defend the Muslims against the Serbs.
And of course, that's one of the primary elements of the modern day jihad movement is that Muslims from all over the place defend the jihad. They all fight the jihad together to some degree. Obviously, there's differences between Sunnis, Shias, and
Yep.
Sufis, but the general idea being you will find Muslims from all over the place in Pakistan or India or Afghanistan or Iraq fighting the cause of jihad, and it's just a matter of them crossing paths when they train together or when they supply lines for weapons or things like that. So anyway, this guy Eduardo Rosa Flores is just extremely interesting.
And then like we're pretty sure he's the ringleader because he was like 48 I think when he died, and like the other three guys are about like 24 to 27, like they're this Irish guy Michael Dwyer, and like
That's
he's
hilarious.
he's got a Bebo profile, it's got like
the guy's
guns
got
and
a Bebo pro. That's
Yeah.
the thing that's so weird about these guys. This guy Flores has a YouTube site. He has a Facebook page. He has a blog.
and he's an international terrorist.
And
How
he's
does
an
he have
international
time?
terrorist, and he's in movies. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's this other guy who has a fucking Bebo account.
Yeah,
Is this
and
not
then
the new age of
yeah, and then like
terrorism, or what?
the other two guys were ethnic Hungarians from Romania, from the same small town, probably known each other since they were kids, and that they were involved in some sort of group that they're a very eccentric rock climbing group. They like to climb rocks with lots of guns. No, I mean that they carry the guns, not that the rocks have guns. And they've been suspected of being some sort of ethnic Hungarian militia in case they end up in some sort of clash with the Romanians in town.
So this whole thing is quite interesting, and
Maybe they beat up gypsies on the side or something.
We had initially planned to watch Chico and do a review of it, but we didn't have time. So now what we're planning to do is to do it next time. And what I'd suggest is that those who are interested go and look it up. I downloaded it from Demonoid. I'm just gonna fucking
Yeah, to
admit
find it's useful to search for Chico 2001 because there are so many things called Chico.
And you can see the IMDb site. I think I put it in a link to my and then there's a link to it in my last YouTube video. If there's not, maybe I'll add it. But the point is you can download it via BitTorrent, and it seems pretty interesting. It seems a little low budget, but from what I have read, people have referred to the guy who made it as a genius. So it could have some cinematic value on top of the fact that it stars this international terrorists, and it's a semi-biographical movie. And we'll talk about it next time. And yes, the terrorists have control of our internets. That's what's going on here. I just am so intrigued by the fact that this guy was trying to kill Morales and somebody who was anti-Morales. That's one of the things that makes me so interested in it. And of course, the idea of the Cheney assassination squads is something that you can't help but giggle at, although you probably shouldn't. What do we have, like a minute or so left in this segment? Anything else you want to say, and then maybe we'll go on to another wrap-up segment where we'll wrap up loose ends? Anything else you want to say about Flores?
Can't think of anything right now.
All right. Well, welcome to the new viewers. And yeah, and we record